Hey guys, my name is Jennifer and I am Jenofeve Designs. We are going to be working with the new essentials today, and I think what I'm going to do, since there are 3 different styles of ink stations and 2 different sizes of garbage bowl with a bonus corner chomper thingy, I think I'm going to split it up like this. So I'm going to make one video for the square ink stations. I'm going to make one video for the rectangle ink stations. I'm going to make one video for the universal ink stations. I'm going to make one video for the garbage bowls and one video for the bonus corner chomper stand insert for the garbage bowls. So that way they're easily searchable for you guys, and they're shorter videos. I mean, you can make them all, like when I show you how to make these, you can make all the different ink stations the exact same way. You don't have to, it's not a different process, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Hang on, you might be a little crooked. There we go. But I figured it would just be easier this way to do them separately, so that if you wanted to just make a square for your distress, you can search that video and voila, here it is. Okay, so these are printable templates available in my Etsy shop, and I'll have that link down below. And again, like I said, we're going to be making the single square and the double square ink stations today. I will also have timestamps down below for you guys if you need to jump around. And just really quick, be sure that you are subscribed to my channel and make sure that you hit that bell notification so that you get notified every time I upload a video. All right, so I'm going to set these aside. And this is a workbook that I make. All I did was I printed off the whole set of templates, and this is the essentials, which means that there's no background design. It's just plain. It's just like bare bones, you know. And it's also available in both the US letter and the A4 PDF. It's one listing, but both PDFs are included. You just download the one that you know, your paper size. So all I do is I print the entire thing off onto paper. I think I used 28-pound paper. I don't know, something like that. I could have just used copy paper, and I probably should have. But anyway, I printed the whole thing out, and then I laminated each piece. So basically, well, I actually printed back and front and back is what I did. So I didn't print each page as an individual page. I did front and back, and then I laminated those pieces, and then I did that to the whole thing, and then I went back and printed onto cardstock, a heavier weight cardstock. This is 80-pound cardstock. I printed the same pages onto that and then cut them out so that I can use them as traceable templates. Like, for example, this first page in the square ink station is the templates you need to use to trace onto your chipboard. That's one thing that you need to have as a traceable template. The other pieces can be printed. So if it's for the actual construction, like this double square ink station, this part right here, these are for putting, tracing onto your chipboard. But again, you can print off directly onto your pattern paper, the mats and things. So that's all I did, and then I bound it. At first I had it with just some binder rings, and because I thought I was going to be adding, well, I know I'll probably have another essentials, but I decided to go ahead and bind it just because I can always add it into this, you know, I can always change the binding. So I just use my Zetter, bind it all. But the other essentials that I have is the photo mats, and it's the same thing. It's kind of bare bones, but it's also available US letter and A4. But it's just the ones that has the photo corners on there, the black mats, the photo corners without, with like a white mat. And I went ahead and laminated it just for reference, even though these would just be printed off to use. I think I must have been eating a granola bar when I bound that, because I keep finding little bits of chocolate. Okay, well, let's get started. Let's go ahead and get started. I am going to grab my chipboard, and this, I have a Amazon list specifically for this project. Well, it'll be for the whole ink station garbage bowl projects, and I will link this exact chipboard in that list, but I'll have it down below in the description box. But I've already done an intro video for this set of templates, and I will link that up here in the cards and down below in the description box. But I basically talked about in that intro video a little bit about this chipboard. This is a medium weight chipboard, or 30-point chipboard. Do not use heavyweight chipboard because these are, for example, the small, I'm gonna have to get something to pry down here. The small square, right? That's what it looks like, empty. Oh, there's a piece of acetate there. That's what it looks like, empty. But if you used heavyweight chipboard, then the ink pad will not fit. Now, as it is right now, it is snug. It is supposed to be snug. You want to be able to lift your lid off of your ink without the whole thing coming up with it, okay? So it's supposed to be snug, but if you use anything heavier than medium weight chipboard, it's gonna be too snug, or it won't fit, basically. So you can also take thinner weight chipboard and glue 2 pieces together. You can use cereal box weight chipboard and glue 2 pieces together. What you would want to do is you would want to just cover the entire surface with like a white glue, and then put another piece over top, really smush it together, and then lay a bunch of heavy books over it for it to dry. And then it'll be the same thickness as this medium weight chipboard. So the medium weight chipboard is, I'm wanting to say it's 1/16 of an inch thick. So if that helps you guys out at all. Okay. Next, we got my chipboard. What I want to do is I'm going to make both stations, the single and the double, at the same time. So I'm going to grab both sets of those templates. So I've got, this is the part where the ink pad is going to be, and this is the part where the blending tool will be. So I'm going to grab both of these out of the book there. And what I'm going to do is how I cut these out is I left all of the corners. I don't know if you can see, I left these corners. Now you really don't want those corners, not and I'll explain just a minute. So you may want to put an X right on those, because you don't need those corners, but they do help you. Oops, excuse me, I'm losing my voice. They will help if I'm sorry, they will help you trace them out a little bit easier. I'm just going to use a pencil. So let's see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this on here. Oh, when I made my templates, when I printed it out for my traceable part, I cut it out, I scored it, and then I burnished it really good, you know, back and forth, and I did that to all 4 sides. And again, I left those corners on here, but let me show you why I did that. It just makes it just a little bit easier, and it'll make sense here in just a sec. So I'm going to go around this entire outside edge like this, right? Then I'm going to go through and I am going to flip over each one of these flaps, and then I am going to trace that edge. Just like that. And then this is the second part. I think I can get all of these on here. Let me put it over here, just to be safe. So I'm going to lay that right up next to that. Actually, you know what? I'm going to scoot it over a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to trace the outside edges. Yeah, I was going to say, can you guys see? You can. I hope you can. Just like that. Right? Can you see there where I traced it? Okay, so again, we're not going to be keeping these little tiny squares. So if it helps remind you, you can just put X's there. So I'm going to do this one really quick. I'm going to trace this out. Okay, so now I've got both of those traced on here, and I'm going to grab my Score cutting mat and my new ruler that I found. This is the Creative Grids, and it's got grippies on the back. So I'm going to take that, and then a craft knife. All of this stuff will be linked in the Amazon list. And I think what I'll do, another thing I like about this ruler is it's bigger, it's taller than 12 inches. So it'll reach past, you know, the height of this chipboard. So I'm just going to take this, let's see here. I'm trying to get it lined up. Now this does not have a metal edge, but it's a pretty thick ruler, so I think it'll be fine. All of the prototypes that I made for this set of essentials, I used this ruler, so I haven't had any issues. So a tip for when you're cutting your chipboard is just make many passes. Don't try to like force your way through on the first pass, because that's just unnecessary pressure on your hands. So I'm going to set this piece aside. This part we're not using, but obviously we're going to need more chipboard throughout all the different ones. So I'm going to put it aside for now. And then I'm going to separate these two. Okay. First though, one of the things that I like to do to keep myself straight is I like I'm going to cut all these pieces apart, but I like them to fit together really nicely. So what I do is I mark it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I do that to every one, the same order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. That way when I go put them back together, it's really, really simple. So now I'm going to, let's see, I guess I could just start by cutting these all apart. Okay, so then some of these pieces, those little squares, we want to remove those. So I'm just going to take, these are Tim Holtz tonic scissors, and I'm just going to take and cut those little squares off and into the garbage bowl. Okay, so step 1, trace onto your chipboard. Step 2, trim your pieces out. Step 3, tape them back together again. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay them out here like this. And then I'm going to take some tape, Scotch tape, and I'm going to squish them back together, and I'm going to tape them. Now you could skip this step if you wanted to. You could just use construction strips and put them together and not do this part. But I think even if you're going to do because there's 2 different ways I'm going to show you. Even if you're going to do construction strips, then this just is easier. You don't have to fiddle as much. You know what I mean? All right. So I'm just going to burnish that really good. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to do all of them the exact same way. If you want to see how I made my fancy little tape dispenser, I have a video for that. I'll link it up here in the cards and down below. But isn't that pretty? Way prettier than just the plain old black, huh? Okay, we've got those all ready to go. So I'm going to show you, first I'm going to show you my favorite way. And, oh look, that's not even, oh that's the one, that's that one. I'm going to show you my favorite way first, and then I will show you another way. So let's just do the small, well, let's do this one, my favorite way first. Well, and it's too, it does depend. Also, there's one other factor on this that it makes a difference. Depends on what type of adhesive you have. Okay, one you could use like a wet glue, like you could use a white, something like an Aleene's or a art glitter glue, cover the entire surface, and then attach it to this white cardstock and let it dry. You know, don't do anything until you let it dry. But what you do, if you want to do that, you put the glue on the tape side, you flip it down and press it, burnish it, lay something heavy, leave it be for both pieces. But what I like to do is I cover the entire thing with tape. There's those stupid little bugs, you guys, they're driving me nuts. What I like to do is I like to cover the entire surface with tape. So you could either, hang on, I got my back to you. You could use a full sheet. This is scrapbook.com's double-sided adhesive sheets, 8.5 by 11. You could use one of these, and when you're making a larger item, these will come in handy. So if you do want to go purchase some of this, like you've never used this tape before, but you want to use it for this method, go ahead and get you a pack of this. I think you get 5. You get 5 full sheets, which is probably plenty to make all of these items. But anyway, so you could use this. You could use the rolls of tape, these smaller rolls. If you did the rolls of tape, if you use the rolls of tape, I would try to use the widest that you have. But for example, like if you're just using 1/4 of an inch tape, it's going to take quite a bit to cover this whole thing, but it can be done. I'm not going to use 1/4 of an inch tape right now, but I'll link all the supplies, the tapes to scrapbook.com. I'll link them down below if you want to check it out. Oh, I'll link that section in their shop. So what I'm going to do is, I think, oh, I got it. I think I can use 4-inch tape. I don't know if I'm going to though. Yeah, I'm going to use 4-inch tape, I think. So what I'm going to do is, for this large piece, I'm going to take, this is a 4-inch roll. It's actually not exactly 4 inches, but that's okay. And I'm going to take the tape side down and I'm going to lay it on here. And if it doesn't cover the whole thing, if there's a little bit of a top and bottom not covered, that is totally fine. It's not going to matter. So I'm going to cut that away from the roll, and then, how big is this? This one is, I'm going to still use this. Same thing, tape side down. This one's a little bit more flimsy because that was the one I had to make the new piece for. Okay. Well, whoa. Okay, just like that. And before I cut that off, let me get, I have a sheet that I hold, you know, where I put my large cutoffs that I use. Let me grab another one. And see, if you have stuff like this, you can use this, you know, you can use these cutoff pieces instead if you have it. I mean, I don't like to throw tape away, you know what I mean? I like to keep it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut this away and stick it on that sheet. Whoa. Yep, I'm going to stick it on this sheet. And I'm going to put the sheet aside. Alright, I'm going to trim off any excess that I see. Oh, there's some along this whole entire side. Nope, all as well. Alright, then I'm going to flip it over really quick and burnish. Just a quick burnish. And then I'm going to take a minute and cut these little squares out. This is just a little piece of that tape backing that I cut out specifically for this purpose because we're going to use these. We're going to put these back on here in a minute. Okay. So I'm cutting these little pieces off. Okay. Now I'm going to give it another quick little burnish. On the back side of there. Okay. So then I'm going to take the backing off of here. And I'm going to grab my white cardstock. So this is just 80-pound white cardstock. And I'm going to line it up on the edge there. And I'm going to do the same for this one. Flip it over, burnish them. And then I'm going to cut them out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to trim these out, but I'm going to leave that little square here. Whoops. I hope you guys can't see those stupid little no-see-ums. So then, the next step, I was going to say before we do anything else, no, the next step, what have I gotten all over my board, or my mat, is we're going to flip each one of these and burnish. This is the easiest time to do this. If you forget to do this and do the next step first, it's okay. It's just a little bit more cumbersome or tricky, I guess. So don't forget that you can do this exact same thing with the rectangle ink stations and the universal ink station. It's the same thing, you're just using the different page, okay? Alright, so now that I have that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and, nope, I'm going to go through and add the tape back. I almost went in the wrong order. So I'm going to take these little squares that I kept and I'm going to put them back in the little square on the white cardstock. So if you guys ever made my Crafty Companion, if you ever made my trays and stuff, you know, it's the exact same procedure. Okay, then burnish the tape back on there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my craft knife and I'm going to go, just pick away. So I'm going to go through and I have it like this. I'm going to go through and I'm going to slice the long side. I'm going to slice that paper away from there. So over here on the same thing. Oops. I think I need to refresh my blade here. I'm going to cut that tab along that long edge there. So I'm going to flip it around and cut it in the same spot. Right, so all 4 of these tabs are cut away from these long tabs, or the long sides. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. Right, so now all of these little tabby-doos are loose. So now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut up at an angle on either side of that little tab there. And I'm going to make it look like that. Instead of a square, it's going to look more like that. Okay? So I'm going to do that to all of these little tabs. Okay, so we've got that. All of the little tabby-doos. So then you want to flip it where the paper side is up and flip all those little pieces up to where you can see the tape backing, and we're going to take that tape backing off. We're going to lift it up we're gonna match those corners without going over. Don't go over those chipboard corners. And we're gonna attach those little tabs down. I'll show you. I don't know how well it's gonna pick up on camera. There it goes. You see how those two corners are not overlapping, they're just touching. You can see the paper in between. That's what you want. So you want all of your corners to look like that. And then once you get them all attached, then you want to go and burnish those little tabs again to look like that. So then you got a perfectly covered little tray. What's going on? Okay, so let's do this one the same way. Okay, this step is 100% completely optional, and I'm going to show you what it is. It just depends on your style. I've got me a craft mat. Actually, I need to get this out of here this time. I need to smoosh my ink onto the craft mat. See how tight it is? It's supposed to be that tight, you guys. It's supposed to be snug. Then I'm going to find my water bottle. I'm going to spray it with water and activate it. And then any kind of paintbrush you have, this just happens to be a water brush, but a paintbrush will work. I'm just going to get these edges. And you want to go up the sides just a little bit. So you want to do this now before you mat it, because if you do it after you mat, it's not as pretty. Let me show you. It's just not, it just doesn't look as good. So you may want to do it before you mat. So this would be the time to do it. Right, so you want to go up the sides, just the little corner pieces there. Do both the same. So then I'm going to put this aside somewhere where it won't get messed with, so that I can use that again in a minute. So I'm going to do one more step before I show you the other way to put the box together. I'm going to glue these two pieces together like this. So this is the size that we're making, right? So I'm going to glue this piece and this piece. So the two matching sides is what you want to glue together. And I'm going to use a white glue. Art glitter glue is what this is. Actually, I go this way. And I'm being really generous with the glue. Then you just want to, I'm going to give it a wiggle first before I glue it down. Oh, there's another one of those little bugs. Ah! Okay. So you want to match them up as best you can. Then I am going to clip this together, and then I'm also going to take something and weight it down so it doesn't pop up in the middle. So I'm going to let that dry while I show you the other way, the other method of constructing this. Okay, instead of cutting into some new fresh paper, these are all the leftovers from making all the prototypes. I have a bunch of 1-inch strips in here somewhere. Yeah, I'm just going to grab a couple. So you need some 1-inch strips. I don't know how many I'll need. I haven't done this method in a while. So I'll just do 5, just in case. So these are just 1-inch strips out of the same white cardstock. I'm going to get my scoreboard, and I'm going to score right down the middle. Oops, at a 1/2 inch. Then I'm going to go ahead and prep them all. I'm going to fold them at the score and give it a good burnish. I feel like this one is a little bit more time consuming, but if if this is the way you have to do it, this is the way you have to do it. If you don't have the really large tapes and things, and you want to conserve your tape, so you wouldn't have to put a whole bunch of 1/4 of an inch, you know, on there, this is the way you want to do it. Okay, I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use 3/8 inch. Yeah, right? Actually, does the 1/2 inch? No, the 1/2 inch is too big. Alright, I'm going to use 3/8 inch. This is cherry on top tape, and I used it throughout this whole thing, and I love it. Well, different varieties, sizes of this. I will link it down below. It's back in stock. And the only thing I said, it was really hard. It was very cumbersome to try to use with your hand because it's such a big roll. But somebody told me to put it on my arm, to put it on my arm like this. And it's much easier to control like this. So it did take a little practice, you guys. Not gonna lie. Or did I might have used the 1/2 inch tape on this. Well, this is 3/8 inch, so I'm just gonna use it for now. And then I'm gonna use my right angle tool to cut the tape. Now, the right angle tool is not mine, but I will link it down below. I don't know what colors are available right now, but this is a special purple one. There was pink and, oh shoot, I can't remember now. Red, maybe. I can't remember what all new colors there were, but I like it. So once you get used to doing this, you know, the tape like this, it's not that big a deal. We'll come back and burnish all of these. But it did take me a minute, not gonna lie. There's a bit of a learning curve because I'm used to holding my tape the other way. So, and I've probably used enough of this to be able to do it the way I normally do it, but I just wanted to show you. One of my subscribers told me to do this. So I was like, okay, I will try that out. Because I got little hands, and I feel like it was too hard to use the other way. You know what I mean? So this seems to be okay. Oops. Oops. Have you guys tried this method out? You should let me know your thoughts on it. Right, so I do dig this tape. I do dig it. You get a lot for your money, and it's nice. And they have all different sizes. Like the 3/8 is my favorite. It's one of my favorites. Although I now have. Let's see. I have an 1/8 of an inch, a 1/4 of an inch, 3/8 of an inch, a 1/2 an inch, 5/8 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch, 2 inches, 4 inches. 6 inches, and then the 8.5 by 11 sheets. Do you need all them sizes? Nope, you sure don't. But would you want to have them because they're fun? Yeah, you would. So you may want to catch them when they're on sale. Okay, so I think what I'll do is I'll take one of these and mark. You need some separate pieces here. So I need 2. Well, actually, I probably need more than 2. That one's not quite long enough, so I need 2 that size for this piece. Then I need 2 that are this size for this piece. I might be able to just cut this like in half and use these 2 pieces. They don't have to be perfect. So we got that for that one. And then for this one, I'll need 4 of the same size. So just mark it. Ooh, I'm a little shaky today. So what you then want to do is go through and notch each one. Notch each one. Whew. My accent sure does change words. Like, what was I trying to say the other day? And it just does not come out right, no matter how hard I try to say it. I'm trying to think of what it was. Ugh. Okay, so let's start with this bigger one first. So I'm going to take one of these pieces and I'm going to remove the tape off of one side and I'm going to lay it on here right at that joint, right? Ooh, that was almost too tall. So then I'll take the backing off this. You can take the backing off both if you want to and put that down. So I'll do this again. So this is what I mean by if you didn't want to use the tape, you could just use these strips and attach them this way. So like that's one less step, you know, in the process. Okay. Oops. That one's almost too long, so I'm just going to take this to, if I quit shaking, I'm just going to take just a, not my finger, just a smidge off of that. So to me, this isn't as clean of a look. Oh goodness, my battery's getting ready to die. Did that one need to be shortened to just a hair? Right, so now you have all of these attached together by your strips. My battery wasn't fully charged. Whoopsie. All right, so now I'm going to do the same thing to this side, or to this piece. Okay, so you can kind of see how this one's going to be just this one's a little bit more more steps, you know, a lot more steps really. So now, oh, excuse me, my nose is itching. I need to make a bunch of these teeny tiny little pieces. These teeny tinies. So we need, what do we need? We need 8. So 1. But again, if you want to do that same thing, you just notch those little corners, and then what you'll do is you'll take one of those and you put it right here on this part, right? And then when you have it, I guess, yeah, we need 4, right? 1, 2, yeah. Then you bring them up together like this and then attach them. So let me just do that, show you. Right? So that's what your joint looks like on that. So again, it's a little bit time consuming, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it to all these pieces. All right, so I have one put together. So again, this is not my favorite method. I think it's just a little more sloppy. It's not my favorite. I like to do the solid sheet on the base, but you don't have to do it that way. So let me take the backings off of all of these pieces. And I'm just gonna pull them up, press them together. And burnish all those little tabs down. Whoa, come back. Right? And then we're gonna do the inside edges with the ink, just like the other one. Okay, so then the next thing you want to do is you want to glue them together, just like we did with the other one. This one's a little bit more loosey-goosey than the other one, but it will be fine. There we go. So I don't think I'll be able to put a weight on this one. There's not enough space. Oh, see, gotta be careful. Gotta be careful, especially when that paper's wet. Don't push too hard. But it's gonna be fine. Even though I smooshed it, it will be totally fine because we are not done with, you know, reinforcing it. Right? So I also wanted to remind you guys that if you already have the Crafty Companion and you want to make an ink station, let me grab the one, my original. So this one we made, and then the garbage bowl. Where's my garbage bowl? Here it is. These two we made using the Crafty Companion trays. So I have a video for this as well. You can look at that. It's up here and down below. So this was the original ink station, and this was the second generation garbage bowl, because remember my first generation garbage bowl was this one, and I made this one using the keepsake set of templates. So I will link that up there and down below if you want to. Isn't that cute? Look at those cute little feet. I love the little feet. Those are Tim Holtz feet, I'm pretty sure. And then I just used some like gesso and stuff on it to make it look antiqued like that. So I don't think I'm going to show you both ways in every single, like when we do the rectangle ink station, I'm not going to show you both ways. I'm just going to show you the one way and refer to this video. So I think that's what I'll do. So I'll make sure I'll timestamp this one for easy reference. Okay. So here, I need to let that one dry because that one's wet. This one is probably dry. Art glitter glue dries really quickly. Yep. Okay. These are just little bulldog clips. These are ones I happen to rust. I have a video on how I rust things. People have been watching that a lot lately. I've been getting a lot of comments on that. If I have room in my cards, I will put it up here and down in the description box. I don't even remember what I called it now. Let's rust some stuff or something like that. This is just a rose quartz coaster. I get them on Amazon. I will add these into my Amazon list as well. They seem like they might be a little pricey, but if you go in with a girlfriend or something and share a set, you know, you can each get two, and then you can have them for your workspace. Oh, next is we're going to be wrapping the outsides of these. So what you need for this is, I think I got a bunch. Is it, what is it? Is it an inch and a half? No, wait a minute. No, I don't have any of those cut. Or do I? An inch and a half. You need 1.5 inch strips, I think. Is that right? I think that's right. And I think these are all 1.5 inch strips. So I just took and cut down all of my leftover scraps and stuff. I'm pretty sure you need 1.5 inches. Yes. So I'm just going to grab those. I'm going to put these in here, actually, for now. All my leftover chipboard. Keep those, because if you're going to make the rectangle and you want to make that little lift box, you're going to need all those little scraps. So you're going to need 1.5 inch strips. 1.5 inch strips. Good grief. All right, and so you're going to need 1, 2, 3. We're doing the double since that one's drying. 3 strips that measure 1.5 inches by. What you want to do then is measure the inside, from inside to inside of your box. So I'm going to make 3 6-inch strips that are 6 inches long by 1.5 inches. So let me write that down. So I need 3 that are 6 inches, and then I will need 2 that are, what you want to do is you want to measure the width, chipboard to chipboard here, right? You measure that width and then add at least 1 inch, if not more, maybe 1.5 inches. So let's see. So actually I'm going to make them all 6 inches. So in this case I'm going to have 5 pieces that are 6 inches long by 1.5. Okay, So let me get my paper trimmer out. Oh, 6 inches is such a hard one in my paper trimmer. Well, it's okay. Let me show you my trick that I do. This is one of the downfalls of this paper trimmer. Let me move this. This is a Fiskars Precision heavy duty paper trimmer. Is that the 6 is hard to see. And also people don't like it that this plastic ruler is not right on the edge of the metal, so they feel like they're not getting a perfect cut. You have to line your paper up when you're cutting my templates. Like let's say you were cutting this piece off, or you're trimming it to here. When you stick it in your paper trimmer, you want that edge to be even with the metal edge, not the plastic edge. If you did the plastic edge, then it would be longer, right? So you want to make sure that that brown line is lined up with the metal edge. So that's one problem that people have. So what I'm going to do is, I am almost 100% certain, can you guys see I'm way down here in the bottom corner, sorry about that, that this is 5.5. And then I'm almost certain on my paper trimmer, if I go to right in the middle of this gap, it's like 5 3/4, right? So then I'm almost positive that my 6 is right before where you can see the 6. So let's see. Trim that off. Yep, nail it. So how many did I say I needed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's for this tray. Oh, I'm gonna need to cut some more. Jeez. So for this one you have to do the same thing, right? You need to measure, and in this case it's 3 inches. So I'm gonna need 3 at 3 inches by 1.5 inches. So then you're gonna need 2 pieces that, again, you measure the length of this put together, and then you at least want to add 1 inch. So I'm thinking that we might do 6 inches. So we need 2 that are 6 inches. So 2 3 inches and 2 6 inches. So I'm going to cut those real quick and be right back. Then the next step is I'm going to get my scoreboard out. And for all of these pieces that I've cut, I'm going to lay them in the scoreboard here, and I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch. And I just come in from the outside just because it's easier. So I'm going to score them actually at 1 inch. So, and then we want to prep all of them. Now what we want to do is, so it's kind of like this. So we want to put tape on this back side. So where the bump would be, that's where we want to put our tape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay these out. I'm going to do them all the exact same. So I'm just going to show you one, and then I'm going to do the rest of them on for both of them the same way. So for down here, I think I am going to see if this 1/2 inch will work. Pretty sure it will. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to use 1/2 inch down here. You could use 3/8. So this is cherry on top's 1/2 inch. You could use 3/8. You could use 1/4 inch and do 2 strips. Whatever you want. And then for this one, I'm going to use the 1 inch. And this, not exactly 1 inch. I think that the scrapbook.com, I don't have one out. I'm not sure if theirs is exactly 1 inch either, but this fits in this 1 inch gap. So I am going to take it, and if you don't have 1 inch, then you can just use whatever you have and do multiples. So you want to put that on there and burnish it, right? So you want to do that to all your pieces. So I'm going to do that really quick off camera, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I have everything taped. So I think we'll start with this one. We'll start with the double square. So they're all the same size. So we just need to take, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tape backing off. I don't know why I'm sitting it so far over. I'm going to take the tape backing off of the 1/2 inch part, and then I'm going to take the box itself, and it's kind of like I've got it pressed up against the part where the tape is still. And then I'm just gonna slowly, we'll try not to wiggle too much. I'm just gonna attach that down to the bottom there, right? So we have it attached to the bottom, just that 1/2 inch part, and then this part is gonna go along the side. So I'm gonna take this whole 1 inch strip of tape off. I'm gonna grab the bone folder and I'm gonna bring it up to the side like that, right? So now I've got it attached to the side. Then I'm gonna gently bend it around the top. Now, I saw a bone folder the other day, and I might get it. It has these, not this one, but it had like ridges so that you could smooth the edge of your chipboard. I thought that was just like perfect. So I might have to get it. So anyway, so you wrap it around, and then you wrap it around the inside like that, right? And then you may have to, in the end, you may have to go back and add a little bit of color to those corners. But you want to do that to both outside edges here. Then I think I'm going to do the 2 end pieces next, and we'll do this piece last. So for the end pieces, you want to, I'm trying to remember how I did it. The easiest way, I tried it so many different ways when I was doing all my prototypes because I wanted to be able to show you the easiest way, and now I forgot what I said. Oh, I'm going to take the 1 inch tape off this time, right? And I'm going to take the side here and I'm going to put it onto the 1/2 inch part that still has the tape backing, right? I'm going to line it up. It doesn't have to be perfectly centered, you know, from this side to this side. And then I'm going to smash this part right against that edge, like that. And then I'm going to hold it up on its side, and I'm going to roll it to where it connects to the side here. So this piece is connected to the side. And I'm going to flip it over this side, and I'm going to roll it again. Give it a little bit of a burnish. And I'm going to kind of pinch it with my fingers. And I'm going to take the tape backing off of that 1/2 inch part. And I'm going to take my scissors. And I'm going to go right in that corner. Whoops. And I'm going to cut like a little triangle notch. I'm going to fold the 2 little short sides down, right? And then we've got these little notches. I just like to pull it towards me. I need a piece of cardstock. So that it'll fill in that little corner if need be. And then I'm going to fold that piece down there. We'll come back to it in a minute and burnish everything once it's all put together. And then we're going to do the same on the side. So we're just going to notch out this little corner just a little bit. Oops. Well. So I probably could have waited to do the inside until I finish this part. But that's okay. So then I'm going to, the 2 little the littler pieces, I'm going to fold in. And then I'm going to take these little corners by pulling them in like that. Then I'm going to fold this over top. Now you want to take a second and burnish this flat because we're going to have to make another little cut right here and a little cut right here so that we can fold this in and around, right? And then fold this down. Boop. Right? So now that whole edge is wrapped. You could if you wanted to, and I did it on some of my prototypes and some of them I didn't. You could add a strip of paper along the seam if you wanted it to be a little bit more sturdy, but we're going to be matting this whole bottom anyway, so it's up to you if you want to put a piece of paper there. But if you do that, you should do it first. So if you wanted to protect that a little bit more, you could do that first. Okay, so now I'm going to do the other end. Okay, so we got all those outside. Now let's do this centerpiece. And all you have to do is take the half inch, or the half inch piece off of there. And then you just kind of want to lay it in here and get it to where it's right perfectly on that edge. And then we'll come back and burnish it in just a sec. And you want to take it, oh, you know what? I don't know if this is not going to work. Wait a second. I need to go back. I need to cut. It's too long, so I need to one of the center pieces just needs to be 1.25 inches, I think. So this is 1.5 inches, so I'm going to take 1/4 inch off, and hopefully that'll be it. So I will try to make a note of that, and shoot, I'm sure there's an easier way to do this. And when I give you the measurements earlier in the video, maybe I'll pop it up on screen. Right, so I just trimmed off just that 1/4 inch, very sloppily. Now it should, well, it's still, since I did it so sloppy. Don't do it the same way I did it. Yeah, this is not pretty. But most likely you're not going to see it, so don't worry. Yeah, there we go. I completely forgot about that. Completely. Okay. So there is the whole thing wrapped up and ready to be matted. So I'm going to do this other one, this one here, just really quick. Okay, one last step before I get the mats for these printed is I'm going to go and, did you see how easy that was for me to take that off? I got me a new sponge here, so I'm going to go and ink. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Was it this one? Yep. Forgot to burnish the bottom. Let me do that real quick. And I'm going to go through and ink all these edges. It doesn't have to be perfect. So let me get my mats, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to print them directly onto pattern paper. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back. So let me show you what I printed out to mat these two square ink stations. So I printed out, well, let me first talk to you about, before I show you which pages I printed, let me talk to you about this pretty paper. I am using also one of my scripty papers, so I'll link my scripty papers down below. And this pretty paper here, I got it on Etsy. And what I did was, it's a set of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different 12 by 12 size papers. So I printed it out just so you could see. So this is the one I'm using. But I wanted you to see, I'll link this shop down below. I'll link this collection down below. But I wanted you to see all the different pretties that there are. There's like a bird there. I guess that's upside down. There's a bird there. But these are 12 by 12s. You can obviously print onto 8.5 by 11. No big deal. Yeah. So this is the one I'm using. Isn't it pretty? I'd love to have a whole wall that looked like that. It'd be so gorgeous. Okay. All right. I'll link that shop down below. So what I did was, I don't know why, but I printed this off twice. This page here for the single square ink station, the outside mats and the inside mats. I printed it off twice. So I got one in the scripty and one in the pattern. I didn't mean to print it off twice, but maybe we'll use it. I don't know. And then for the double square, this page here is the outside mat. So I printed this on the outside mat onto this, and then the inside mats onto the scripty paper. So let me show you what a little trick, if you want to try this, a little trick for the inside mats. So I wanted to show you that. I'll show you that on the smaller one, since I've got two choices here. I guess I could do both inside and out this pretty pattern paper, couldn't I? Yeah, let's do that. So, but just for the inside mats. It's only a work for the inside mats. It won't work for the outside mats. So it says on here, the inside mats are down here. So I'm going to take and cut it out, leaving all the sides together. Try to be as precise as I can here. Oh, my battery's about ready to die again. It's hot. I think it's just getting hot and overworked. Cut that piece away. Oh my gosh. I keep seeing something too. So again, we're just going to leave all these pieces together for right now. I don't know why those little gnats, they find you, they fly in your face when you need them to not be in your face. I don't understand. Okay. No, it's not perfect. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab my scoreboard and I'm going to score all of these lines. And I'm going to be doing the double one the same way, so I'll probably just do that one off camera. Okay, so I'm just going to burnish these really quick. Oops. I need to clean my workspace for real. Oops. But before I cut anything, I'm going to take my ink. Oops, sorry about that. My son called. Got to answer the phone when the kids call. Alright, but before I do anything else, I wanted to go through here and just ink these edges, these top edges, just so you don't see that white paper. Now, you don't have to do it this way. I've already done that one while I was chatting. You don't have to do this way, the inside, but I think it's clever and clean. You can cut these apart, absolutely. But I'm going to go through here, I think. Do I want to do on the outside of that mark or the inside? Maybe right on that. So I'm going to remove these little corners here. Like that. Sometimes it's not as clean looking as I would like, but it's okay. So I'm going to go through and remove these corners. Whoop. I don't know why I'm a little shaky. Whoop, one more. Okay, and then you want to test it, so you just want to make it a little box and then kind of like finagle it in there. Look at that. Look at how perfect that is. Now again, if you want to, you can slice all of these apart and mat them individually, you know, each little section individually, or you can do it like this. which that is a much cleaner look, right? I mean, but we did ink the inside, so just in case you didn't do it this way, you would still have those inked edges. But if you don't want to do it that way, you can cut them apart. So I'm going to do the same to this, and then we'll glue them in. And I'll do the inside of the other one the exact same way. Oh, that's just so... And so look, it's some of it. Sometimes, though, I will tell you... Excuse me. Oh, sorry about that. I almost got choked up. Depends on how you trim. So you might have to go back and trim some of these down just a little bit, because they are... I did get the... Yeah. Because they are sometimes a little taller. So if you wanted to do that, you could easily just take them out and trim off around the edges. Right, that is so cute. Okay, so I'm going to take and I'm going to glue the bottom down first, and then we will come back and glue the sides. And I'm just using white glue. And then I'm just going to come in here and pull these down and glue them down. Okay, get a hold of that. Okay, I might not have cut enough off of that edge. That's okay, right? So you just want to burnish it down to where it's stuck all the way down around the edges. And do the same thing here. Oh, I don't know why I was getting ready to do that. The other thing on the inside, where's my little thing? There it is. The other thing for the inside that I think everybody should do is cut themselves an additional, whoops, an additional piece of inside matte out of something clear, like this is acetate. You could use transparency. You could use laminating pouches. You could use a piece of like plastic from like a sheet protector kind of plastic, and just make yourself a little protective sleeve where the blending tool will be, right? Because see, it'll keep it nice and clean right there. So I'm not going to do that, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. I'm not sure I'm going to use this one actually. For now, I'm going to use that one because it has the feet on it. Isn't that cute? That just looks so good. So good. I love it. I love this paper. Okay, so for the back side, the outside, you are going to have to cut all of these pieces apart. And I left them bigger than you would think you would need, because I like to be able to mat from here to here, and if I did the typical measurement, there'd be a big gap, like it would be coming in really far, and I don't like that. So I wanted to give myself some more room to cover the edges. So I just left them longer than they normally are. Or normally would have been, I guess. That's a better way to put it. Okay, so I'm going to trim all these out. And then I'm going to ink the edges up. I might not ink them up. I might show you another little trick for the outside especially. One. That's okay. Okay, so I'm going to flip this. Let's see. Let's flip it like this. Upside down. So we know one piece is going to go here. And I try to keep it matched up. So this piece would be the one that goes on this side. And that on that, and then was it this one over here then maybe? Yep. And then that one there? No. It goes like this. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this down. I'm going to get all the edges. Okay, and if you want to, you can add some extra glue around that edge, and especially in that little divot there. You do want to kind of be careful that you don't get too much glue seepage. Okay, and then this one will go here. I'm going to give this a quick burnish really fast. Okay, and then you can come back and ink the edges like this. And it saves you a little bit of time inking all those tedious little edges. Do it all in one fell swoop. But I do still think you need to ink first, because if you get glue seepage, it may not want to stick to that glue. Does that make sense? So now all those edges are inked, and it was that easy. It looks like this one. Right? So it was that easy. Then, let me get my ink pad out of here, and let me show you. I didn't even check to see if this fits. I should have checked, right? What if I did all of this and it doesn't fit? Oh boy, I'd be upset. Oh look, it fits perfect. So it's in there nice and snug. See, the lid came off, but the ink pad stays in, right? So you can do that and it'll stay put. So that's what I like about these little snug ink stations. Okay, so let me put, so this is the one I'm going to use for now because I got the feet on it. So I'm going to leave my ink pad in here. See, this one is even more snuggly, and that's okay. So there's one done. I'm just putting those in my garbage bowl for now. So I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Oops, I printed that off for nothing. So the inside mats look like this. So I'm going to cut them out and do the exact same thing as I did here. And the outside mat looks like that. And I will attach everything, and then when I come back, we'll put some feet on it. Okay? Alright, so I'll be right back. I'm going to do the exact same thing as I did on this little one, just for the devil. Okay, I have this one done inside and out. And I did want to point out, look, accidentally this got stuck down funky, but I don't care. I'm not going to change it. It's not matching up in the corners and stuff, but again, I don't care. I'm just going to leave it. It's fine. It's fine. It will be fine. I mean, it's going to be covered up with dog. Oh no. Well, isn't that something? You guys. And we're crooked. Wow. Well, I was recording. At least I thought I was recording. I got a piece of craft plastic out, scrap craft plastic out. I traced the inside mat for here. I don't even know what I was talking about before that. I had to change my memory card. I don't know. I just got discombobulated. Is that the right word? Well, anyway, so I just trimmed this out to fit inside of there because that's where the blending tool is going to be. And it should fit. Oh, it's still a little, I cut it a little wonky. And I did cut the corners. I did round them just ever so slightly so that it would go in and out easily. So there's that. So yeah, I don't know what all I said and didn't say and whatever. My craft plastic, it is graphics craft plastic, and I will have it linked in my Amazon. And I would cut one for here too, but since I've already got one here, I'm going to be using this one because it's got the feet on it. But I wanted to make a matching double because the one I made for my prototype is a double, but it's not the matching to that one. You see what I'm saying? It's a different paper altogether. Whoop. So yeah, and I'm gonna put feet on this one so that I can have a matching pair. And I am going to use, these are the feet I got from Hobby Lobby. I'll keep that because I'll have to show you. And I found them in the woods section. And I don't need those little screws. But the ones I got on Amazon, they're the exact same feet, but they are a different color. So, which is fine. I'll just put these on a different set. Maybe the rectangle ones, right? So it's just a little bit different color. So to match the ink station, I was just going to use the same color. And the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use some Fabri-Tac by Beacon. I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to apply the dollop of glue on there. Spread it out just a little bit. And I'm basically just going to leave it sit on the corner there. I love the feet. You could use all kinds of stuff for your feet. You could use beads. Like my very first, I think it was one of my keepsakes boxes. I used, you know, the jewelry making beads. You know, the bigger ones. Super cute. You could use little wood balls that are made for crafting. You could paint them any color you want. You could use the little plastic feet, like the ones that I showed you that I ordered from Amazon. This little bit here. Here's where I was showing you. And what's nice about it is it doesn't move around a lot. You know what I mean? So these are like the door, when your door closes, like on a cabinet. These are like the little bumpers for that. I think that's what those are. I'm not 100%. But I will link those in my Amazon as well. Whoops, I got glue oozing out of that one. Okay. So I'm just going to keep checking it to make sure. Oops, there's my... And then you want to give it a second to dry. I mean, it's going to take a little bit longer, and you don't want to put any pressure on it right now. I'm going to stick that back in there. All right, and so there is the double ink station, single ink station, single square. And I'm not going to put feet on this right now, but because I'm going to use this one, right? But that's okay. Now I have me a spare. So I kind of want to put, what else do I have? Ooh, I got vintage photo. Kind of want to put my 2 ink pads in here. That doesn't look very snug, does it? We'll see. Let me grab the black. Put that vintage photo up there. There we go. That's a little bit more snug. And then there would be the black there and the vintage photo there. And voila! What do you guys think? I love them. I think they're great. You guys are going to have to make one. You're going to have to let me know what you think. You're going to have to get in my Facebook group and show me pictures of your pretty ink trays, your ink stations. You don't have to put feet on them. I just like the feet. I just think it's, and plus I find it easier to move around my station. I mean, you could, this is still the same. You can move it around. I don't know. There's something about these little feet that I just totally dig. So yeah, I really like them. Okay, so if you have any questions, let me know. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Be sure to give me a thumbs up if you like the video, and be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any upcoming videos. And then I will do another video. The next video I'll do the rectangle ink stations, except I won't do them. I won't show you how to do both ways. Like, you know, like I did here, I showed you how to, you know, use construction strips and piece this together. I'll do it my way of covering the whole inside part with white cardstock. I just find it sturdier myself. All right, you guys. I will see you next time. Bye.